What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. The Champions League is back. Spurs away to the Champions League champions.
Is this the one game we're not allowed to sing Champions of Europe? You'll never sing that.
It's a Champions.
We know what we are.
Champions of Europe face-off tomorrow night at out in Paris. Obviously, we've already faced them once this season, drawing 2-2, going 2-0 up, surrendering in the final minutes and losing on penalties in the Super Cup.
That was them fresh off the beach.
It was definitely them fresh off the beach, yeah. And I don't think they're going to be as forgiving this time, having fully fit and everything. So we'll get into the preview in a bit, but we're going to start off with the predicted lineup. Thomas Frank has not done his press conference yet. He's due to do his press conference at about 6:30, 6:40 time. But as of now, what are we going for with the injury news?
So, yeah, injury news that we think is Madison, Kulusevski out. Solanke, I'm assuming he hasn't been seen in training. No Basuma. And, yeah, the only one maybe is Dragoshin. Could he be involved in the squad? We don't know. He was seen in training, but he has been seen in training for a while. So I guess it's just about when he gets to go green light when it comes to Dragoshin. But, yeah, everyone else seems to be fit and available.
Well, everyone's calling this game a free hit, so why not give him a bit of minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if PSG away is the best time.
Yeah. All right, look, let's make a stab of it. Obviously, we predicted against Arsenal 3-5-2. We went 3-4-3, so we got 3 at the back, right?
Obviously, 3-5-2 works very well in the Super Cup.
Yeah.
But I know it wasn't 3-5-2, but we did go 3 at the back against Arsenal and it failed miserably. But was that because it was 3 at the back? Was it because of how we played the 3 at the back? Was it because of Arsenal? Does he just go with 4 at the back again?
I don't think the formation in itself, I mean, there was issues with it because I felt like we had a man less in midfield, but 3 at the back is not the issue here. It was the way they played it, the intensity they played at, the ambitions that they had on the football pitch. We've seen 3 at the back can work, and I think it did work for 80 minutes in the Super Cup against Paris. I want to see us go for the exact same formation. I mean, I have no clue. Like, literally, I've got no clue what Thomas Frank is going to do in this game in terms of formation. What I want to see is 3-5-2.
Because obviously it did work so well in the Super Cup, but I think we will acknowledge it's probably going to be a different game.
Yeah.
On this game. They're fresher. We're not in great form. We're not in great confidence as well. But considering it did work, would it be stupid not to just go with that again, I guess, just because we know at least we bloodied their noses a bit. We should have won the game, but we know they're going to be better, but at least we know that is a way we potentially can play to stop them.
I think we go for it. 3-5-2.
3-5-2 or 5-3-2.
Yeah. So in goal, we know Vicario for sure.
Yep, he's obviously going to play.
Some people giving him our man the match at the Emirates, even though he conceded 4 goals.
Yeah, and he also probably could have done better at one of them as well.
Yeah. That's how poor we actually were. So Vicario in goal. Right wing back, I think Pedro Porro comes straight back in. Jed didn't do himself any favours, I thought, at the Emirates. And Pedro...
Sorry.
Yeah, Pedro at right wing back.
One sec. We haven't got this lineup on screen. There you go. Yeah, Pedro coming in. We need, look, at the end of the day, if we get a set piece, we're going to need him.
Yeah.
So we need him for his delivery. And I'd say Jed wasn't great, although Jed was brilliant in the Super Cup.
Yeah, he was.
So
he was at left wing back then. No, but I think look, it's very rare you'll see Pedro Porro not start for 2 games in a row. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's any reason
to
keep him out.
He could go with Spencer left wing back. Is my point.
Yeah, he could. Do you think he will?
Because a doggy. I mean, it didn't really help having a doggy in that system for some reason, but maybe it could in this game. I think I'll probably prefer Spence, just because he adds that bit more solidity potentially. But then again, it's kind of like you're kind of sending the message we ain't going to go forward.
Yeah, are we going to go forward either way
Yeah,
with either of them in there? I prefer a doggy. I think he will go for a doggy anyway. All
right, so let's go Destiny then. The thing is, the The reason why I think maybe Spence, because I think he'll definitely go a doggy on the weekend. So maybe you go Spence here and then a doggy on the weekend.
We'll rest in a doggy for the Premier League.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
No, I think Spence could be a better fit just because they're going to have Kavisha or Barcola. You're gonna, and he's very good in those situations.
Yeah, he is.
Because is the doggy going to play both games? He could do, I guess, but
I think he will. I think he's just so important to us now. So I think a doggy plays all 3 games. So we've gone for a doggy left wing back. Centre backs, 2 we know, Romero. Well, we know 3 to be honest. Danso, Romero, and Van de Ven.
Yep. I think that's pretty self-evident. I don't think Dragoshin or Takai are ready to come in just yet. Maybe one of them will get minutes later on, even though I find that unlikely as well. But again, Danso, his long throws were such a threat in the Super Cup, so he's going to have to play.
Yes,
and also Romero can't play against Fulham.
That's true, yes. So those are the back 3. In the midfield, João Palhinha, I think, is a dead cert.
Yep. Well, the 3 we went against PSG in Super Cup was Palhinha, Bentancur and Sarr.
Yeah. So Sarr's there, Bergval's back, obviously Archie Gray's there. Javi.
But the thing is, if we go with what we did in the Super Cup, which is pretty much what we're going to predict, and it goes badly again, are the knives not out for him again?
The knives are going to be out for him regardless.
Well, at least if we have a bit of a go, create a few chances, maybe he can get a bit of a pass. But if we go defensive and get schmeiced again, then it's like, are people not going to, are we not saying he should do what we accuse him of doing against Arsenal?
Yes, but against PSG in the Super Cup, we did this and it looked good. I thought we looked good for 80 minutes, But we held our own. Game. Yeah, of course it's going to be a different game, but if we go a bit more open, then, you're leaving ourselves so I think he's going to go for what he believes is the best way, and I think he believes this is probably going to be the best way.
So we're thinking Sarr and Bentancur.
It could be Bergval instead of Sarr. I don't think Sarr's done himself any favours recently. I think he's been pretty poor whenever he's been called upon. I got a feeling, and Bentancur as well was shocking at the Emirates.
Sarr and Bergval? Xavi and Bergval?
I would like to see Palhinha, Sarr and Bergval. He'll probably go Palhinha, Bentancur and Sarr.
Yeah, because Bentancur was so good in the Super Cup, wasn't he? And it's this kind of game where you're going to need someone like Bentancur. But it's hard to, after Sunday's really thrown it off. I think if Sunday didn't go that badly, I would have said, yeah, just do what you did in the Super Cup. But after that and what the specific criticism was, if he goes for this lineup,
But this lineup's different to the one that we saw on Sunday. The one that we saw on Sunday...
Is there any more going attacking?
No, but it gives us an extra man in midfield, which, hopefully... I mean, we probably will, because they've got just incredible midfielders that can, just keep the ball for fun. But you've got to hope that if you play 3 aggressive men in midfield, we can hold our own a little bit.
Okay. So, what are we going for? I do think Sarr probably does start.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it's
basically Bentancur or Bergval. I want him to go Bergval, but I think he'll go...
I think he'll go Bentancur as well. Yep, I think he'll go like that. And then, I guess Kudus and Moani?
Yeah, I think Moani starts.
Against his old club?
Yeah.
Your current club?
His current club. Because of the UEFA rules, he's allowed to play. So Moani up top alongside Kudus.
Like that?
Yeah. So that is the lineup that we think Frank's going to play, with Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Udogie left back, Danso, Romero and Van de Ven as the back 3, João Palhinha, Papi Matar and Rodrigo Bentancur in the middle 3, with Kudus and Moani up top. And
this lineup that I know it worked so well in the Super Cup, but I'm just looking at it, I'm like, God, how are we ever going to do anything?
Yeah, but what lineup are you looking at and saying, we are going to do something?
I don't know. It's true. At least I'd like to show a bit of ambition. But I guess
playing 2 strikers.
2 strikers. So as long as we're playing at least 2 attacking players, then that's a bit of ambition.
Well, you've got 2 attacking players, and you've got to hope that Pedro Porro and Destiny can help to that attack as well. Sarr can be a goal threat as well. How many goals has he got this season? João Pelini is a goal threat.
We've always got 2. I think, to be fair, it probably is best. It's the best chance of getting a result is playing a team like that. I do agree with that, but I'm just thinking about.
We're playing PSG. We're not playing like Fulham at home. You know what I mean?
I know. I understand that, and it probably is the best chance of getting a result is playing a team like that. I'm just going off the fact that there's been such a fury after the London derby about how we played, and then we're saying, okay, let's set up like this now against PSG, which is not really a lineup that screams, okay, let's go for it a bit more.
Yeah, I do get that, but we are playing PSG. We're playing the European champions, the actual European champions, Champions League winners, best team in Europe at this current moment in time. They've just rested pretty much everyone in their last league game. So it's like, even if we're at our best, it's going to be hard to get anything.
I get that as well.
So I think we need to focus, make sure we're not as open as we were against Arsenal, get that extra man in midfield. And even if you play a 5 at the back, it doesn't mean you can't attack. That doesn't mean that. So why can't we attack with this formation? And I would actually even think about taking out a Sarr and putting like a Javi in there, or a Bergvall, someone that can, be a bit more forward thinking.
So would I. I would like to see one of those 2. But when you're up against Ruiz, Neves, and Vitinha, you just need players who can get close to them, don't you?
Yeah. So look, I think this is probably the best way. This is the lineup we're going for. What's your score prediction?
God. I think it's going to be a battering, to be honest. I really do. As much as I know we did well in the Super Cup, and I know, look, let's be honest, we did well in the Super Cup, but PSG was so off it. They really were. Like, they were making mistakes. I know it was because we were pressing them.
It was their first game back from pre-season.
That's the thing. And I know we pressed them into mistakes, don't get me wrong, but I think if we press them in the same way, I don't think they're making the same mistakes. As on top of that, the goals we scored, 2 set pieces, the Romero one was a big mistake from the keeper as well. And we still didn't win. We still gave up in the last minute. So I think it could be 3 or 4, to be honest.
3 or 4?
4-0. I don't think we score.
You don't think we score? God. Not filling with much hope, go. We'll get the train out to Paris in the morning.
God. Should we go? Should we bother?
Look, I've just got this funny feeling.
Oh, here we go. Don't you start.
I've just got this funny feeling. I can't see anything but a PSG win. I mean, it's hard to predict an exact scoreline. If I was going to predict it, I'll say 3-1 PSG, and that's on the positive side.
What have their scores been in the Champions League so far? They
lost to Bayern.
Lost to Bayern at home. They won 7-2 against Leverkusen.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Away as well.
Away. They beat Barcelona away. And they beat Atalanta 4-0. Doesn't make great reading for Tottenham, I have to say.
But look, that is our predicted lineup. Let us know your thoughts on the lineup. What do you think Thomas Frank is going to go with in this game against PSG in the Champions League? And we'll move straight on to the match preview, because Luis Enrique has been speaking his press conference, making some nice comments about Spurs. He's saying Tottenham have had a great start to the season. They're a strong side.
Oh, he's pepping us.
Yeah, exactly. And he's saying... Yeah, the thing is, Pep usually loses to us.
Yeah, true.
And he says that was the first game that he's talking about, the Super Cup, and he says that was the first game of the season. Wednesday's game will be different. We're more ready to be the dominant team and to win the match. Our goal is the same in every match, to be dominant. And you know what? I've been seeing some PSG accounts saying, this week we take revenge on Tottenham. And I'm like, what revenge? You beat us. You beat us on penalties. Like,
you won the
come
trophy.
on, like you're literally lifting the trophy at the end of it. Like, why are they coming out for revenge?
We dared take the lead. How dare they? Like, who do you think they are trying to take the lead?
Mad.
They still think they lost. Maybe that counted in what's the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
Well, they're pissed off.
Yeah, so look.
Anthony in the comments says the XG is going to be 0.0000000. The decimal. Can you find a decimal small enough for what we're going to create tomorrow? Do they have decimals that small?
Yeah. Look, we all know it's going to be crazy hard to win this game. Look, if you look at
let's just get shit out of a point.
Like, if you look at the PSG team that played on the weekend, you were looking at it before. Like, how many players did they actually rest?
Yeah, they rested. Kavisha came off the bench. They rested Barcola. They rested Fabian Ruiz. They rested Marquinhos. They rested Paco. Hakimi and Dembele didn't play, so they're going to have a lot of fresh players coming into the game in midweek.
And we've just come off an absolute drubbing playing our full-strength team in the North London derby. Low on confidence.
Is there any chance, like, because we were talking about it before, right, with comparing, how Pochettino started to how Frank started, and there was like a moment for Poch when things like Villa game where he's like, all right, enough's enough. We're not playing Adebayors anymore. We're not playing Kabul's anymore. Like, we need everyone buying into it. And he just went like really young players, Kane, Mason, Bentaleb, like brought them all in, and everyone bought into it. And we saw on the weekend just this lack of intensity, this lack of fight. Is there any chance he's like, you know what, get Bergvall in, get Gray in, just get these younger players who are just, maybe they're going to be more receptive right now to what I'm trying to get them to do. Maybe they're going to give things more intensity. And even if we lose, at least maybe they'll enforce something.
I mean, you look back at that Pochettino time and there was like clear players causing problems like the old guard. We don't really have an old guard. Who's our old guard and who's the ones causing an issue? Like, I get what you're trying to say, but I don't know which players we're supposed to be taking out for them. Like
Bentancur, maybe.
Yeah, but apart from him, who else?
Palhinha.
You take Palhinha out, you know what I mean? He was our best player at the Emirates.
Who else would there be?
That's it. Those are the only two players. You see? Like, who are these players?
I don't know, yeah. I don't know.
So I get what you're trying to say, but I just can't see it. Unless a Bergvall plays again, instead of a Sarr, or a Bergvall plays instead of a Bentancur, or a Javi plays instead of, like, apart from that, there's not many changes that he's going to make to this team. The back line is the back line. The only one you can add in there is a Spence, really. The only changes you can make is up front, and none of them are old. Kudus and Moani just signed for us. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
What can we, like, going into this game, because we think the best way of, like, playing, if he does play this formation, we're saying, like, a 3-5-2, make it difficult, sit back, counter. Even if we do seem like we do well, we get, like, a draw. Have we, like, learned much, even if that happens, if you know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not saying it wouldn't be impressive and we shouldn't be happy. I'm just saying, like, but if that happens, then we go back against Fulham, we still can't dominate the ball. Like, are we still back to square one then?
Well, I think what we'll see is a team and players fighting for the badge, which we haven't seen in recent weeks. We've seen a clear lack of intensity, a clear lack of idea on the pitch. So at least we'll see some sort of plan being followed, because even against Arsenal, you saw what the plan could have been with the lineup. We were trying to, sit deep and be compact and try to hit them on the break. If we do that and actually do it moderately successfully and actually create a few chances, then you can look at it in a positive light. We haven't been able to look at a game in a positive light in a while now. So if we can do that, it's a step in the right direction, I guess.
No, that's true. I'm just talking about in the terms of the question marks we'll have about what Frank is trying to implement. Like, can we, if we are going to approach the game in this way, even if it does work, it's like we haven't learned much about the way we're implementing.
I think from that aspect, this game is a bit of a free hit, because you're playing PSG. You're playing literally in the last week, we've played two of the hardest games you can get in Europe: Arsenal away and PSG away. I think you learn a lot more when we go play Fulham at home on the weekend.
I agree.
In this game, I just want to see a bit of a plan, I want to see team fighting for the manager. I want to see a team fighting for the badge, fighting for the fans, and I just want to see us not get completely rolled over and have a few chances. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, I'm not even saying we have to score. Just can we create something? Can we get near their box? Can we have a shot on goal? Can we make the keeper make a save? Look, to be fair, even if it is just set pieces, can we get some set pieces?
I just want to see us fight. Like, fight for it. Like, fight for us. Fight for the badge. Like, fight for all those travelling fans. You know what I mean? Like,
part of the biggest thing that pissed me off on Sunday was you literally got Eze scoring a hat-trick. He's literally laughing into the camera. He's literally taking the piss, and not one Spurs player seemed like they gave a shit about it. Like they wanted to get some sort of pride back, leave something on someone, or like try and show a bit of fight. Like
we're not going to take wasn't there? Declan Rice and Javi.
Not really. It was bare. There's nothing. There was nothing. No one seemed to care. Like that, we had this intensity at the beginning of the season, but it just seems to have completely disappeared, and we're going to have to get some of that back, but all of it back, really, and more, and then some, probably, if we're going to get anything out of this game. Look, for me, I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting to get a draw or anything. I'm expecting a defeat. If we can keep the score respectable, show like we're in the game for some parts of it, have some sort of chance to show there's a game plan that I can see, that a pathway to somehow getting a result, then that's what I can take from it. But even look, the reality is it's a good chance we can get battered by a good scoreline here. But and if we do, there's nothing I can really say because it is PSG. There's a chance that even if we're playing well, going into this in good form, they can roll you over. So there's not much you can really say in this game. But the only thing is, if we get proper embarrassed, 4, 5, 6, then obviously you've got to start to question if the players are really onside. That's the big thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I say I just want to see a team fighting, and I want to see a team really, trying their hardest to overcome a defeat. And I know it's going to be very hard to do that in this game, but if we play anything close to like we played against Chelsea, or like we played against Arsenal, or like we played against Monaco, or like we played against Boda, if we play anything close to that, then literally it could be 6 or 7. Like, I'm not joking. Like, this team, we know, we just read out their past Champions League results. Like, they can do that to teams quite easily. So if you're not on it, that's it. Like, they'll eat you alive. They'll completely eat you alive with the players that they've got. Like, come on, rested as well. Like, God, we need to turn up like men, and we need to fight. We need to fight. There's no other option here. We're going into the Lions' Den. We're going into the champions of the Champions League, the best team in Europe. And if we don't fight, then that's it. We're going to go home battered and bruised like never before. Like, literally, think back to that Bayern game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when we lost 7-2. It could be worse than that, literally.
Yeah, it really could be. And if we're off our game, even if you're off a game, even by a couple of percent, PSG, this PSG team smell blood. They smell weakness. They've got incredible technical ability. They're also very aggressive. They've got good athletes, but the main thing is their ability to pop it around and just open you up at will. You saw what they did in the final. This was a good Inter Milan team. There's that Inter Milan team, trust me, doesn't have any lack of fight or anything. They're a good team, and they opened them up and won 5-0.
What was the score when Villa went there last year? Because Villa actually sort of knocked PSG out the Champions League last season.
Well, they lost...
was it 2-0?
I think they lost 2-0 and then 3-2 at home, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because Villa,
they won 3-2 at home, sorry.
Yeah, like Villa showed, particularly in the second leg, like they showed proper fight against this PSG team, and it shows how far a bit of fight can get you. If you're all together, a band of brothers, and you fight together, that can go a long way in football. A bit of mentality, And Villa should have knocked PSG out that week, and the levels between Villa and PSG are massive.
If it wasn't for Donnarumma, they could have easily.
Exactly, that chance that Maatsen had at the end, that was the winning goal right there. So that's basically what I want to see. You look at players that they have in the middle of the park, like Vitinha. What a player he is! Like, he just does not lose the ball. He does not lose the ball. I feel like with Vitinha, João Neves, players like that, you saw Bentancur and Paulinho, or mainly Bentancur, chasing shadows in the North London derby. I mean, if you thought facing Declan Rice and Zubimendi was hard, you've got another thing coming with these lot.
He's taken his game up to another level. He scored a hat-trick in the international break as well for Portugal. And those three are just... I've never seen... Honestly, I think they control games. Like, I've never seen a midfield control game since Iniesta, Xavi and Busquets, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, since those three. That's how good they are. Their passing is just elite. They've got eyes at the back of their head. All three of them have unbelievable vision. You just can't get near them. And then off the ball as well, they're little pit bulls. You know, you think you can overpower them, but they're so strong as well. Like, it's going to be very difficult to get any sort of sustained possession out of that team.
Yeah. So you got to get the ball when you can and pick your moments to go forward. It's not like this team are like impenetrable and you can't score against them. You can score against them.
Chances.
But you got to take your chances. You've got to be clinical. And, you know, we're not.
You're going to see the ball once every, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you've got to make the most out of it when you do. Yeah. And that's why, I mean, Pedro Porro in this game, in terms of his ball-playing ability and being able to play those balls over the top to potentially catch them out will be big for us. But then on the other hand of that, I do kind of worry about Pedro Porro defensively coming up against like Kvicha.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, who did he come up against in the Super Cup? I think I'm trying to remember who was on which side. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, for sure, you've seen Kvicha can do anyone on the wing.
What a player he is!
He's strong as well. He's skillful, but he's also strong. He out-muscle you. He's two-footed. He's got a great strike on him. He's so good at.
So it was Kvicha.
He had a great game, I remember, in the Super Cup.
Yeah, but again, like, you're not going to see that level of Kvicha, like a Kvicha just coming off the beach literally and rolling up to the Super Cup. Like, this is going to be a Kvicha with a quarter of a season behind in his legs, you know what I mean? And rested on the weekend. That's
the thing. I think PSG are going to be a lot fresher and a lot better than they were in the Super Cup, for sure. But you saw, we saw it after, we were looking at it after the North London derby in the reacts, like the average position we had when we played against them. It was a free at the back, but we were brave. Danso's average position was in the PSG half. We were a lot braver with our pressing. We got stuck into them. So we've got to try and do that again. As much as it is going to be a different game, that has to be the game plan. We have to be brave. You have to take risk. If you don't take risk, you're taking risk, as Frank says. So I don't want to see us camped in our own box and just really deep. You have to go at them and try and, show what you're about.
Yeah,
that's what we've got to do.
And if we go for it and we get battered, I think we'll be able to take it more than if we show what we did against Arsenal and get battered. Do you know what I mean? If we actually go for it, then I'm not going to be fine with getting battered against anyone, no matter who it is, but it makes it a bit more palatable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, show a bit of fight. And I want to see some evidence that Frank has a belief in these players, because at the moment I'm starting to doubt that. You're not that meek in games, especially derbies, if there isn't potential problems between the players and the manager in terms of are they really buying into what you want them to do. And I want to see evidence that they still are, because there was a big difference from what we were seeing at the beginning of the season, just not even in approach, just how the players were looking, how the sort of fire in their eyes and how they were going into challenges and things like that, and we haven't seen that.
And you know what? I was watching a bit of the training footage that we put out this morning. And I know it's only like a small sample size of training and how much can you really look into it and read into it. But it just looked like depression. It just looked like everyone with like negative body language, shoulders slumped, just going through the motions. That's what it actually looked like. And that doesn't look good.
No.
Because usually when you see this training footage, everyone's like laughing, jovial, having a good time together. I didn't see any of that.
And the problem for Frank is, as you were saying, with Poch, he kind of had those things ready to change if need be, like those elements of the team that clearly were never going to buy into what he was trying to do. But for Frank, there's no obvious thing he can change personnel-wise, which you can say, okay, that can change everything. Like, it's difficult to see how it changes without him changing if this is how it's going at the moment. Yeah. And the thing is, it was very similar when you think about Nuno. Like, a large problem with Nuno wasn't necessarily just his approach, which obviously was a problem, but I felt like the players didn't respect him. I felt you saw how Kane was when he was there. Kane, was sort of the shadow of himself. Like, he was nowhere near the player we knew. I remember he won all those games out of goal. He was barely getting a touch. Then as soon as Conte comes, he's like a different player. He's got a fire in his belly again.
Yeah.
And is there an element to these players? You know, I don't know. Maybe it's harsh to say, but I'm just looking at it at the moment. Maybe he hasn't got into them yet. Like maybe he hasn't got their full backing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's hard to say right now, but in terms of the performances on the pitch, it doesn't look like anyone is fighting for the cause. That's the reality. From the training footage I've seen, it doesn't seem like anyone is happy to be there right now. Look, it might just be a snapshot, and I might be reading too much into it.
You know what? We did see Spencer Van der Ven walk straight past him. We did see that. It was waved away as an excuse, but maybe there was more to it there.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It's true. It's true. Because as much as we say like we can't really tell right now, like I don't think Van der Ven and Spence just walk past Frank like that. If like they're never doing that to Conte, you know what I mean? They're never doing that to a manager which they really respect. So I think there might be more to it. I really do. Which is hard for me to say because.
But the thing is, if he's lost the dressing room already, which I don't know if that's true, but if he has, like, surely something drastic might have happened, or maybe the hierarchy don't want to make any sudden movements just yet, but. I don't know. Would we have heard more stuff? Maybe not. Maybe it'll come out. I don't know. I think, we are hearing murmurings.
Look, time will tell. Time will tell, and I think it will happen sooner rather than later because we've got games coming up now, like your Fulham's at home, and if we lose that, you know, the shitstorm that's going to come after losing at Fulham at home. Newcastle away is fine, but then after that, we've got a few games at home. I think, you know, Slavia Prague at home, and if we carry on with these negative performances and we're just looking really bad and the players are not up for it, then I think the club might be forced into a change.
And we were watching it together, like Van der Ven doing that interview, and you want a strong statement after such a bad North London derby defeat. You want to hear him say it was unacceptable, blah blah. He's just like, yeah, tough day for us. Yeah,
there was for me there was something very off about that Van der Ven interview, like very off. Which is weird as well, because like Van der Ven is like the player that's probably improved the most under Frank.
That's you would say, yeah.
And like they were asked him like, can you give a message to the fans? And he just like laughed a little bit and it was just like, yeah, well, yeah, it's really, and then just gave a bit of like jargon. But I'm like, the way he was delivering that interview just seemed a bit off to me. Like for me, like nothing seems right at this moment in time, and I just don't know what it is. And the easiest thing to point to is the manager, obviously. But I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the problem is when we talk about Frank and giving him time, and I think at the end of the day, like 12 games is a very short amount of time to judge a manager on. But you also have to think about what you're hoping he turns around and starts doing, and is there evidence that he's building towards something that everyone really truly wants at this football club and everyone can buy into. And the problem is because we there's nothing in his career to really say, that's exactly what we're building towards, or even just what we've seen in a Tottenham game. Apart from we've seen the PSG and City games, but those games are when you're counter-attacking and stuff like that. Games where which we're going to be playing for a majority of the time, dominating in possession, attacking teams. We just haven't seen anything so far. So I can't really say, if you give him time, this is how we can play. Like that's what he can build towards. I can't see any of that at the moment. That's the struggle with a lot of fans at the moment. I think they're struggling to visualize what giving Frank time is going to look like. Yeah,
and that's the hardest thing about it, especially. I mean, look, I was very happy for Frank to come to this football club, and I've always, even a few weeks ago, I was saying like, this is definitely going to work. Like I'm so sure of it. And as the games progress, as the days progress, I'm questioning it more and more every day. And I want to give it time. I want it to work. But I need to see more. And I've always said I'll give it till the end of the season. And I'm still willing to do that. And
I'm telling you something. I know people say, look at Arteta, he finished 8th and all this kind of stuff. I'm telling you, you ask Arsenal fans if they were seeing more at this point. I'm telling you, they would say yes. They saw a little, some games where he clicked. And I know he went on long stretches, especially in the second season where they were losing. But
8 defeats in a row.
They did, that's true. But even in those 8 defeats, you watch some of the games back, they could have won a few of those games. Like I'm telling you, you tell us Arsenal fans, they were seeing little things. I'm not saying they were happy, but they were seeing something.
But they were also calling him tactically inept.
Yeah, but because obviously it was his first job in charge, and look, and obviously everyone's clowning on them, and the same with us. But I just doubt Frank's ability to coach a team that wants to be dominant and wants to attack more often than not, and doesn't want to counter-attack.
Forget wanting to be dominant for a second, but in the games even where, like I said before, in the games where we're supposed to counter-attack, like the Arsenals and like the Chelseas, we're showing nothing.
The thing is, we're not a good counter-attacking team.
No.
We don't counter. Like, when was the last time you saw us just get the ball and be direct and counter swiftly? The only times you've maybe seen it is when it's against Leeds. We won the ball in the middle of the park and got into Tell quickly, and we scored and got into Kudus. That's like it, really. We don't really exploit space very well as well, which is not like a Frank team.
Yeah, I mean, particularly since Son's left, Son was the best player at doing that.
Yeah,
we used to counter very well when we had Son in his prime, and we were probably one of the best transitional teams in the league at that time. And now we're not. Now we're probably one of the worst. Unfortunately, we don't have those killers on the transition anymore.
Yeah, we don't get in behind teams.
No. But that's what Frank's supposed to do. Frank's supposed to coach it into these players and coach these young players like the Matisse Tell, like the Odebear, and he's not going to get the chance to do that if we don't give him the time, and that's supposed to be his biggest selling point.
I get that, but I'm not even saying we don't do it regularly. I'm saying we never do it ever.
Yeah.
At least let's see it a few times.
Yeah.
Once or twice, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
After 12 games, you should have seen a
No,
couple of instances.
I get it. And you know what? Anyone who is saying Frank out right now, I do understand it. I completely understand it. I just think it's too early. I think after 12 games, I just don't think it's the right time to do it. We need to see more, and we need to give him the chance, I think, to get it right and to show us something. At least show us something.
I think that's fair as well. And I've said I'm going to give him to the new year, really, to prove that he can show. He can get this team doing certain things on the pitch, like attack and have great chances. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request to show that. I understand managers need time, and I think it's probably unfair to sack him right now. But I've got massive reservations. Massive reservations.
Yeah, and I
now.
don't blame you. I really don't blame you. If this was before the Chelsea game, I would have probably gone mad at you for saying something like that. But that Chelsea game and that Arsenal game was two of the worst things I've ever seen. And from worse than anything I saw under Ange, worse than anything under Mourinho, Conte, you know what I mean? This is straight up from the Nuno playbook at Spurs is what we were seeing. That is literally what I'm seeing right now. I said it after the Arsenal game. It's just there is so many comparisons to that short Nuno tenure that we're seeing right now. That's the worrying thing.
Under those managers, you might complain we only had 4 or 5 chances.
Yeah.
Now we're complaining about not having any chances.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the issue Frank's got to contend with. And look, he's got a big game coming up tomorrow. Obviously, if we do surprise people tomorrow, they'll buy him some time for sure. If we do get a win, doesn't matter how it comes, even if it's a shit house parking a bus. If we get a result, we get a result. That will definitely buy him some time. But he's got to be showing, in general, way more than what we're seeing. And I know he says, we're nowhere near the team we want to be, and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, we've never ever built on. We've seen good things against Brighton. We saw some good stuff. I remember how excited Frank was to go after the Brighton game, even though we didn't win. He was so excited about some of the football we played, and we just haven't seen any of it since. Nothing.
Yeah.
We haven't built on any of the good stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
And the most worrying thing I think for him at the moment is that defensive solidity has seemed to have completely gone.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Completely gone.
That's the thing. There's just
even people who say, but he's improving the defence, but has he even now? There's a case to say the defence is as bad as it was. I know we've conceded technically less goals, but if it wasn't for Vicario, would we have?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I think you're right. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can say to rebuttal that or to argue that. As much as I want to, there's nothing I can say, and I'm in full agreement. Unfortunately, we have regressed since the beginning of the season to now. In every phase of our play, I think we've regressed. From attacking to defending, everything. Structure. Literally, there's nothing I can say that he's developed and he's worked on to improve over the course of this season so far. And unfortunately, if this carries on, there's only one way this is going to go, and that is going to be him marching out those doors with a P45.
Yeah, I think with the games coming thick and fast now, no international break, literally it's going to be 1-2 games a week. It's going to be a relentless schedule. He's got to get things right very, very quickly, and it's got to happen now.
Yeah, it's got to happen right now. And what a better time to do it than facing the champions of the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain, in their own patch. So it's going to be a hell of a game tomorrow. I don't know what, I mean, I kind of do know what to expect, but I don't really, like I said before after the Arsenal game, you know, as each embarrassment comes and goes, you brush that off, and then you look forward to the next game and you're like, all right, Spurs are back. But I'm just struggling to find the enthusiasm to get up for this game. Yeah,
the players need to show something to give us belief that maybe we could do something like we did against PSG, like we did against Man City, and show they're up for the fight. They've got an ability to get closer, and they're putting those challenges in. And if we go down swinging. Don't go down meekly like we have been doing recently.
See, a bit of bite, a bit of fight. Come on. Is that so much to ask for?
Let's have a 0.1, please, in XG. Come on. None of these 0.0s anymore. I don't
want 0 point anything.
No 0 point. Exactly. Why a 0? I'm not even asking for a 1. I'm asking for a 0.1. That's how low we've got. I'm saying, can we have a 0.1?
The thing is, though, like, you sack Frank in January.
A 0.1 means a 25-yard shot.
You sack Frank in January, then what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to start planning now for that if that happens. I don't know. Get Antwerp for 6 months. I'll take that.
And if Ange ain't going to come back, I don't like. So what is the plan?
Xavi? Throw the book at Xavi?
Like, we can't even rely on Mason now because he's in a job.
Cochrane. Oh, what's it called? What's the interim? Cochrane interim.
Cochrane interim. Man.
Get one of these managers from Germany, Seb Hoeneß from Stuttgart. Everyone likes him.
Yeah, I just feel like if we know that there's no future with Frank, I think it's like managers become available in the summer. Good managers come available in the summer.
Brendan Rodgers, someone said.
You know, I asked you that about Brendan Rodgers last night. About would you take Brendan Rodgers? Yeah. Why not?
I mean, to be honest, over this potentially.
Like, why not?
I don't want to give Brendan Rodgers a 3-year deal. You know?
No. I'm talking about interim from now to the end of the season.
I take Rodgers over an interim over what I'm seeing.
But even like with Brendan Rodgers, right, in terms of a full-time manager, like he's done well.
He just got sacked, didn't he, from Celtic?
I mean, he's won the league every time he's managed Celtic.
How did he get sacked from Celtic?
I think it's just like they hate their owners there. I don't know. There's a whole. I don't know. It's called Hearts are like 8 points clear at the top of the league, or they were. But forget that Brendan got sacked from Celtic. Like he's won the league every time he's been there, which is it's no achievement, no crazy achievement. But in the Premier League, he's done well.
Yeah,
won the FA Cup.
I don't think he's a terrible manager. I just think we could do better.
Who?
Who's available? Xavi. I'll take Xavi right now.
Would Xavi come to Spurs?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, Brendan's an okay manager, but he's not, I think he was good for a time. I don't know anymore. He got relegated with Leicester.
Yeah, but he also finished fifth twice with them.
He finished fifth twice. Yeah.
And won them the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Title charge with Liverpool as well. Unlucky not to win the league that year.
Yeah, but the next season they finished 8th or something.
Yeah.
And the season before they finished 8th.
Yeah.
It was an anomaly, that league, that title. They had Suarez and Sturridge.
But also before Brendan, like they were nowhere near a title charge, were they?
One season under Rafa they were, but yeah. No, obviously in the wilderness under Hodgson, weren't they?
Mm. But anyway, look, it's true. Like we should stop this nonsense because Frank is here. Frank is our manager. And I think it is a bit disrespectful to speak about other managers.
Brendan Rodgers. I don't know about Brendan. Inzaghi? Yeah, I don't think Inzaghi's in Saudi, isn't he?
But look, that's
also a main reason why I'm willing to give Frank a bit more time, just because
there's no options.
There's not really an outstanding candidate. When Nuno was gone, Conte was just sitting there, free agent, we'd already had discussions with him. We knew that he was like sitting there. There's not really a Conte equivalent.
Yeah, no, there's not. But look, like I said, bigger managers and better managers come available in the summer.
Although Conte's getting itchy feet now. Could we go for round 2 with Antonio?
Look, it's me and you. We get the Eurostar out very early at the crack of dawn tomorrow, so we're going to be there in Paris for the game. So, yeah, I'm not very much looking forward to it, but let's hope that, stranger things have happened. You never know.
Look, football, anything can happen once the ball kicks off.
Yeah, exactly. It's just 11 men against 11 men on a football pitch.
At the end of the day, we did nearly beat them in the Super Cup, so if we can recreate that somehow, you never know.
Yeah, I'm sure they're quaking in their boots. They're quaking. But yeah, that's... sorry you don't get more upbeat preview this week, but it is what it is. Spurs PSG, that is your match preview. Let's get into some super chats before we move on.
Some other managers that are free. Thiago Motta. He's not a bad manager.
Okay.
Joachim Löw from Germany.
What's Thiago Motta done apart from that year in Bologna?
He had a good year in Bologna, and then he only had 2 jobs, Bologna and Juve.
Because he didn't do well at Juve.
Everyone's getting sacked at Juve at the moment.
Yeah. But you say he's had 1 year behind him at Bologna. Is that what you're saying?
In Italy. Yeah, but at least that was a year where they got Champions League.
Yeah.
Igor Tudor, I don't know what he's done in his career. There's Javi.
So what's Thiago Motta done that Brendan Rodgers hasn't done?
I just think he's more modern. I think his tactics are more modern.
I mean, I don't even know what Brendan's tactics are these days. He might have modernised them.
Maybe.
You just don't like it because it's a Northern it's a British name. You want the fancy foreign names.
I just think he's a man past his time, Brendan. I don't think there's a reason why no one's really going for him.
Yeah. Someone might go for him. You never know. He might end up back in the Premier League. Leeds, really?
Yeah.
Might do a good job there.
I don't know. I think he sends him down.
I mean, Bielsa went to Leeds.
Yeah, I know.
And now he's manager of Uruguay.
I'm not saying it's anything on Leeds. I'm saying I think he sends him down.
You think he'll send them down?
I think they're probably going down anyway.
Yeah,
but I don't think Brendan's wants to keep him up. Anyway, go on with Super Chats.
Okay, so Steve Dyer DJ just became a member.
Big up, Steve.
Ninan Chow says, can we stop acting like the forward line is the issue? Our attackers are not even touching the final third. That's on the mid. Paulinho is a defensive mid. Is a defender in midfield. I mean, look, I don't think the problem are essentially the midfielders or the attackers. I think the problem is solely the tactics. We can all take, issue with João Paulinho and the way he can play the ball and everything like that, but I think the main issue, and I think literally 90% of the issue, is the tactics. Yeah,
that's what I feel like. I think these attackers in a different system could be performing a hell of a lot better. And when I say a hell of a lot better, in terms of XG, right? If I said like 10 times the XG, that would be what, 0.7, let alone 0.07. So like, yes, I think they could be performing 10 times better under a different manager.
It's embarrassing, man. It's really embarrassing. All right, and he also sent another super chat saying, Sim's hate for Kudus has to be studied. Kudus contributed the third most defensive contributions on Saturday, and he's complaining that Kudus held on the ball too long. Stop the double standards.
First of all, what's one got to do with the other? What's defensive contributions and holding on to the ball too long got to do with one another?
Why do you hate Kudus so
how are
much?
they connected? I want to explain. That needs to be studied. How are those two correlated? How is defensive contributions and holding on to the ball too long? How are those two things correlated?
I don't know. He's just calling you out on what you said.
But I don't understand why you think I hate Kudus. I think he's great. I love Kudus. It's always you, Ninancho. I know, I've noticed. It's always you who calls me out, saying I hate Kudus. You just like bang on every stream about how I hate Kudus. I don't know where this thing's come from. Yes, I give him fair criticism like everyone else. He does hold on to the ball too long sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes he does. And sometimes it breaks down moves. And sometimes there are other options that he could be doing, and he runs into trouble unnecessarily. But that's not to say he's not a great player, and we're lucky to have him, because I think he is. And I really like him, but I'm always looking for him to get better. But it's not. But for sure, he is. When I'm talking about 99 problems at Tottenham, he is like the 99th. You know what I mean? He is by very least.
Kudus is not a problem at Tottenham. He's not a problem.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a problem. He's not a problem. Like he is very low down my list of any sort of issue. Mm-hmm. Like he's a very good player.
All right, there you have it. Sim loves Mohamed Kudus.
There you go. Can we put that to bed now?
Michael Hellman with the members chat, number 39 months, saying, I'm bracing for a post-match fan carnage if we do not get a result after PSG. UEFA Europa League vibes are fading. My real opinion on Frank and ENIC 2.0 will be formed after January. Best channel, great content. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you very much, Michael Hellman. Long-time supporter of the channel, Michael Hellman. Thank you very much.
How long... in terms of what Michael's saying, how bad does it have to get before there are serious eyes being pointed at ENIC 2.0?
I mean, I don't think you can put any eyes on them right now.
Not right now. I'm saying if Wolford gets really, really bad, Frank goes, another manager comes in, that's a mess. Like, how bad does it have to get?
I mean, I don't think you can like explain it like that. It's just like you just need to see it play out for you and make a judgment call as and when it happens. But it's not just ENIC, like everyone involved, Lang, Paratici, ENIC, Vinay, like all these guys are going to be called into massive question now. Every transfer window, January transfer window it starts off in, the summer transfer window. You just need to make a judgment call after you have some evidence. Well, what can you say?
I don't know if Frank is speaking now, but we've got only a bit. Apparently, Brennan's suspended for this game.
Oh, right.
So he is unavailable. He said everyone else who's in the squad for against Arsenal is available for this game. So it's only Brennan who will be missing.
He's saying he watched the North London derby back. It was a tough watch. It was not a good performance. It's been 2 good days since the talks and meetings, mainly about us, how we improve and how we go forward. In football, there are setbacks, but it's about how you react. So I'm expecting a reaction.
All right. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope. I like that.
Azarimaro, how you pronounce your name, sorry about that, says, told you guys we were getting another Nuno in the super chat when Thomas Frank just got appointed. Ben strongly disagreed. We are not getting another Nuno, Ben said. Ben did say that. But Ben is saying now that it's looking very much like Nuno. So,
we'll see, yeah.
Look, you might be onto something. Nuno, look, was only here for 10 games. Frank's been here for 12 games, so the sample size is exactly the same.
He's already outlasted Nuno.
Yeah. So, look, he needs to turn it around, and he needs to turn it around quick. That's the reality. The 3 Spurs boys. Big up to Bobby K. And he's put in a members chat member for 45 months, Bobby. And he says, big up the boys, all in the chat. Big up the chat.
Big up. Bobby K, where are you on Frank? I know you're one of those positive Spurs fans out there. So I want to know where you're around, Frank.
Ardavan says, honestly, what's the point of signing Simmons if we don't play him in big games like this? Frank has to use his best players, and he is one of them. What would you say to that?
I agree. Well, I agree to an extent. It doesn't mean he can't tactically, for tactical reasons, be dropped or rested or whatever. I think if I'm thinking of Frank's plan, I think maybe it made a bit of sense in the 3-4-3 to not go with Simmons, because if your plan is to exploit space and get players to run into it, you probably want Odebear running into that space more than you want Simmons, because he's quicker, and so you might exploit it a bit more. Didn't work out like that. Obviously, we had to bring on Shafi on. But I think the way he's used Simmons so far has been totally wrong. Like, we haven't seen anywhere near enough of him in the final third, and that's because the team hasn't got enough in the final third, and we haven't got anywhere near the opposition goal to get him in. Look at the perfect example of that is Sunday. Look where Eze's picking the ball up. 3 times on the edge of the box. How many times have we seen Simmons just get the ball there, let alone do anything?
Last time I can remember is Brighton.
So like he's not getting the ball in those positions. So how can we judge him for like not doing anything when he's not getting the same opportunities?
That's the thing. Like, I hate all this Javi slander I see around the internet, like mainly from fans of other clubs and some Spurs fans as well. And I'm like, what are you expecting him to do? Like, the same with Richarlison on the weekend against Arsenal. It's just like, what are you expecting these players to do? They're not supermen. You know what I mean?
And yeah, I hate this thing. Oh, he's not physical enough. I mean, look at like Foden. Is he like the most physical player? You can still play in the Premier League. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like the most physical player. Yes, it helps, but I'm just saying, Maddison's not the most physical player. Like, doesn't mean he can't play. Like, Xavi, I've not seen anything to suggest physically he can't play in this league.
Yeah, well, actually, Xavi against Chelsea, he was the one doing the defending and actually winning it back for us loads of times. All right, we're going to move on to the next segment. We're going to be reacting to your comments on our videos. What was this? Post-Arsenal videos.
Yes, there's been a lot of comments, a lot of, well, we'll get into it, a lot of like Ange stuff. There's been Ange obsession in our comment section, I think it's fair to say, since the Arsenal game. But
I bet there is.
This comment we'll bring up first. This is a comment that was left under the matchday vlog.
Oh God!
And I think it's because everyone seemed so happy and up for it and pumped up before the game, and then as soon as like the game started, just like jump cuts like 1-0 down, and it's just like
as soon as the goal went in,
angrier.
As soon as the goal went in, it just completely changed because literally I was having the best day. I was literally having the best day, and even like as the game was going on, you could see what was happening. You could see like we had no chance in this game, but you know, you keep your spirits high because it's still 0-0. We haven't conceded yet. But then when that goal went in, it was just pure depression. You knew exactly what was coming.
That is the I know I've been there. It's like it's the worst feeling when you're losing that game and you're at the Emirates. Honestly, it's like, oh, I hate that.
Literally, when that goal went in is when the iceberg hit.
Oh, and then just a low sink.
Yeah, exactly.
Wayata 216 says Spurs fans were gloating pre-match. European trophy winners, they sang. Now they flip after one game. Short-sighted fans. Arteta got 8th first season, 8th second season, but they stuck with him. Thomas is only 6 months into his first season. Judge Thomas on Fulham. Spurs will be top 6 at Christmas, and everyone will say, "We love Thomas." Weak fans. Is there any element to think that the fan base as a whole are being, if they are wanting Frank out, are being reactionary potentially?
I mean, there's an element to it, but I think like I can understand it completely because there's just nothing to go on. There's completely nothing to go on. I mean, I want to give him time, and I think 12 games isn't long enough. But what he's saying there about Spurs fans gloating about European champions and it's all flipped after one game. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, we'll still be gloating about European champions when we play you, when you come back here, no matter where we are in the league. So it's just a fact. We won the Europa League last year. That is a fact. I can't say any fact about Arsenal winning any trophies in the last 5 years.
Exactly. He said Frank's 6 months into his job. Well, he's not even 6, is he? Well, I guess if you count pre-season.
Yeah, he came in July. He officially started July. Yeah.
All right. Lincoln Alanda says, we do not give managers time. Look what Nuno did at Forest and what he's doing at West Ham. Yeah, but is that what we want at Tottenham? That's the question. That's the thing. Like, there are good fits for good clubs, and Nuno was never a good fit at Tottenham. Never. Not his managerial pedigree, getting a respect from the players, and the way he plays. Spurs fans were never going to accept those performances, not having a shot on target for 3 games in a row, I think it was. At one point, I think we lost 3-0 3 games in a row. And so, yes, I understand it was early. And look, is sacking him after 10 games, was it unfair? Considering I think he won 5 and lost 5. So it wasn't like it was the worst form in the world, but it wasn't good form either. But yeah, was sacking him after 10 games... it was harsh. Harsh, yes. But at the end of the day, you can just tell when it's not a right fit. And it wasn't. And the thing is with Frank, is it definitively there yet? Maybe not. Just because we have had, a few good performances, not really on the ball, but like in general. But I guess we're not far off it at the moment in terms of really definitively saying this isn't going to be a good fit.
Yeah. But the time is coming, I think.
Yeah, that time is coming at the moment with the way performances are going.
But we need to see drastic improvements very soon. Otherwise, more fans and more fans are going to flip, and the stadium is going to get louder and louder and louder. And once that happens, and once toxicity really, seeps in and settles in inside that stadium, I don't think there's any going back.
I think also if you could see that Frank was trying to implement like his style of like attacking football, and and it wasn't quite working, I think fans would be more forgiving. But the problem is we don't see any sort of attacking football. Like we don't even see us going into the opposition half a lot of the time. So that's a big problem.
It's not even that. We don't even see effective football. That's the problem. Like, if you're playing this way and still getting eaten alive and getting battered in games, like then what are we doing?
Mm-hmm. But it's also like you want to give, even if you give it time, it's like, okay, maybe we'll start counter-attacking better, and but is that really exciting? Does that excite you? The thought of like we'll see more performances like Everton away, that will be like a good game for us. Like, it doesn't excite me, you know what I mean? Yeah,
but it doesn't mean it can't get better. The main thing, like I keep saying, the main thing is winning football matches. And if we're consistently winning and rare and deserve to be winning and whatever, then I'm happy with it. Like I just, this whole free-flowing attacking football was all nice and I'd love to see it, but how many actual teams are playing front-foot attacking free-flowing football in the Premier League right now? Not many.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't have to be free-flowing attacking football, but just a willingness to go forward and be dominant and create chances.
See, Brentford had that willingness to go forward and maybe not be dominant in games, but create chances.
Yeah, they did. But again, it's very different being at Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
Coxey, Normus. Oh, God. I've just been done.
What do you mean?
The name.
Oh. Didn't even clock.
Oh, God. Bloody hell. Sorry, guys. He says at this stage, last season we copped 14 goals in 13 matches playing Ange ball. This season it's 14 in 12 matches parking the bus. We had 19 points after 12 games last season, and we have 18 now. Okay,
so what's he saying? At this stage, last season we got 14 goals in 13 matches of Ange ball.
We conceded. No. After 13 matches,
no, we scored.
We copped, so we conceded.
I thought copped means scored.
No, we copped. Like we've conceded.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This season, because this season it's 14 in 12. That's conceded. That's not scored.
I thought the young kids use cop as like buying something. Is that not true? Sammy?
Huh? Yeah.
Copping. If you cop something, that's to buy something, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you've copped 14 goals, is that scored or conceded? I'm pretty sure it's conceded. Well, the numbers are conceded.
Okay,
so
fine.
It must mean conceded. Anyway, he's saying last season we conceded in the first 13 matches we conceded 14 goals. This season in the first 12 we've conceded 14.
Okay.
We had 19 points after 12 games last season, and now we have 18.
Yeah.
So we were for the first 12. I guess his point is for the first 12 games we were better last season than this season.
Yeah, I mean, but Ange did have a whole season behind him as well. First 12 games last season. This is literally Frank's first 12 games as a manager. But obviously, Ange's first 10 games. You can't really compare.
Look, I thought we were playing well in the first 12 games, the last 13 games last season, but it all went wrong. But obviously, unfortunately, we didn't really get the results we should have in a lot of those games as well last season.
It all kind of fell apart last season when we played Brighton.
Yeah.
In that Brighton game when we were 2-0 up and we lost the game, we lost or drew? We drew 2-2.
I think it was more, we lost 3-2 or 2-0 up.
Yeah. I think it all started to fall apart there.
We still had some good games after that.
No, I'm not saying we didn't,
think
but
it
I
was
think on a
more-
whole it started to fall apart there.
I think it majorly fell apart after that City game when we had all those injuries. Like, imagine what
Nah,
we
because
were.
we played Ipswich.
I know we lost that game, but we then beat City 4-0. So I'm saying after that game, then the form like fell off a cliff. Totally.
But wasn't it Brighton, Ipswich, Man City?
I don't think so. I think we had like Villa in between. We beat them 4-1. I can't remember
Maybe.
exactly. Then it really fell off. But yeah. But then we had so many. I'm just saying, imagine Frank this season, like without Vicario, like where we would be. Probably be really low down the table.
Yeah.
John McCree says, think Frank lost the dressing room. The warning signs were there with Spence and Van der Ven's reaction to him after the Chelsea game. We show no creativity or intent going forward. The team he picked yesterday was set up for damage limitation and it didn't work. People slaughtered Ange for having no plan B, but at least he had a plan to attack teams and try to win games. Frank has only a plan A, and it's to defend and hope you hold out. We had free kicks and Vic humping the ball up the field. You don't have to be a tactical genius to coach that. The players have picked up on this, and now the fear of losing has taken over from the desire to win. True, a lot of our players are not good enough, but a top coach makes them organised, cohesive and spirited team, which Frank has failed to do. Another performance like yesterday, and we'll be flirting with relegation, and that will spell the end of Frank. He sticks with Bentancur, Paulini in the middle, Richie up front, recipe for disaster. Hope he turns it around, but the body language of players is not looking good.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I can't disagree with anything he said there, to be honest. Like, everything he said is what we're seeing in front of our eyes right now.
Are you surprised, though, when he talks about Frank, he only has a plan A, and that's a defender? Are you surprised? I guess maybe it takes a while to implement different kind of ways of playing and systems, but, like, are you surprised at how badly he's failed to change things?
I am. I'm extremely surprised because everything I thought of Thomas Frank coming to Spurs about devising all these kind of different plans to play against different teams, that we just haven't seen any of it. I know we changed it up and had a different plan against Arsenal, but that was like the first time we saw it really. And he's changed a little bit of tweaks about getting a wide player to come inside a little bit, and that's about it. But
of any of his stops, I can't think of any game where he's maybe Brighton, you could say, but like I can't. Yeah, Brighton, I guess that was one game, but I can't think of too many times we've been trailing or something. And in fact, you think of the opposite. You think that Bournemouth game, like he only got worse. You know what I mean? Same with Chelsea. In fact, it only really got worse after he changed things.
Yeah.
Like it's quite concerning how his subs have not.
But that's the thing. Like everything I thought about Thomas Frank before coming to Spurs, and all the kind of USPs that he had, just we haven't seen, and maybe that's more evidence that he needs more time to kind of implement it because of stuff that he has shown in the past. I don't know, but yeah, it's just not looking good, man.
Yuri Oxborn says, this is what we get when we go in for managers who are mentally fearful of big teams and can't manage seasoned players.
I mean, he's saying mentally fearful of big teams. I always thought Brentford did really well against the big teams.
Yeah, they always bloodied their noses a lot of the time. It was always a difficult game when Brentford played those teams.
Like, Brentford always gave Man City a really tough game. I know they only beat Arsenal once, but you always knew you're in a game when you're playing Brentford.
Yeah, there was always like a tough fixture.
Mm-hmm.
They would rarely win by more than the odd
That's
goal.
the thing. Like at Brentford, he wasn't fearful of the big teams. He would go toe to toe with them. At Spurs, it has seemed fearful.
Maybe is it a case of maybe when the big teams play Tottenham, they up their game rather than when they play Brentford, it's a bit different maybe.
I mean, Arsenal and Chelsea, maybe yes, because it's like a big derby.
Well, most teams, I think the big teams that when they know that Tottenham, you got up your game a bit. I guess when you're Brentford's like a small team, But like it goes back to like the intensity thing that we were talking about. Like against Man City, we weren't fearful that day. We played very well. The intensity was high, and we won on merit. We had Van der Ven tracking Haaland all the way to the opposite.
You know what I mean?
box.
We won on merit. PSG in the Super Cup. Yeah, I know. Therefore, we didn't. We weren't fearful that day. We should have won on merit. So I don't know what's gone on from then until now, but I don't know. It's just worrying. It's just worrying signs.
Ivan9127 says, we finished 17th last season. Suggests that he sees finishing any... he's quoting... he's quoting Frank. He says, Frank's default position, we finished 17th last season. This suggests that he's finishing anywhere above that as an improvement, even 16th or 15th. It's the wrong way to look at things. As Ange would say, you'd have to analyse things in context. Ange had a horrible year of injuries, was forced to compete on 4 fronts with kids and a depleted squad. But what that has given Frank is a squad that has built togetherness, resilience, fast-track development of youngsters, the euphoria of winning a trophy, and Frank has been backed. Ange, with these fundamentals behind him, would have had a good season 3 because this would have been the season where his philosophy would have come to fruition, but we'll never know because Muppets that couldn't see the forests from the trees.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. Like, Ange lost a hell of a lot of games, so I was all up for keeping Ange, to be honest, after the Europa League final, and then I thought once he was sacked and we hired Frank, I thought it was the right way to go, and I thought we made the right decision. Sitting here right now, I still think it was the right decision, maybe to move on from Ange, but I don't think it. Who knows if it's the right decision to hire Frank?
Think about what you're seeing now. You're not more curious to see what season 3 might have looked like rather than this?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, I was happy to keep him after the Europa League, but once he was fired, I thought it was the right decision.
I understand that. But I'm saying that season 3, surely he's got to be a more exciting prospect than what we're seeing at the moment.
If I take my mind back to the parade, then yes. But otherwise, no.
He says here, Frank has been backed. Is that fair? Has Frank been backed? I hate it. That question always comes up, doesn't it, with managers?
What does that mean? Frank has. He's. I mean, we've been able to
spend money.
He has spent money. That's a fact.
So did we back him in the market? Some people say he had a poor window. Some people say he had a good window.
No, I mean he had a decent window. Yeah, I think we had a good window in the summer, but it takes multiple windows to build the squad that a manager wants. It's not just the one window fix and that's it. Like, there's still a lot of work this squad needs. But it was a good starting block in the summer.
I agree. He says. Here about Frank, that comment he made after the Arsenal game, when people have to remember we finished 17th last season. Is Frank sowing the seed for any league position above that is an improvement kind of is that what he's
I just didn't like that comment at all, and I've usually liked I liked Ange's press conferences more. I think they were funnier to watch and more interesting to watch, but I don't really take problems with anything Frank has said so far, but that's a comment which I didn't like. I think he's trying to find excuses a bit too much there with that this team finished 17th last season. Well, first of all, it's not just this squad. It was a squad that was ravaged with injuries, and it was a squad that didn't have the players that you have at your disposal as well, like the Mwanis, like the Javi Simmons, like the Mohamed Kuduses, and that. So, yeah, I don't like that too much.
Yeah, there's a multitude of reasons, and this is it's a squad that also won the Europa League because they get pretty much through in the tower in the league for the last couple months. That's pretty much what led to that league position. Everyone knows if you're a serious analyst, if you're serious about watching football, everyone knows that squad shouldn't have really been 17. Everyone knows
it's
that.
True, but
I know it was
we
17,
got 18 points in the last 25 games.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's not just half a season.
No, it's not. As I said, we for a large part of it are ravaged by injuries. By the time we got them back, the league was so far gone. We're like, okay, let's just throw in the towel and go for that Europa League, and we end up winning it.
Yeah, and we also lost 5 games when you said we were playing well before that Man City game. So we lost quite a few games when we were supposedly playing well as well.
Yeah, I know. But we're also winning games by big margins.
Yeah.
So there was a good team there. There was some good players there, I should say.
But we were losing too much.
Okay, we're losing too much, but we know that 17th wasn't the true value of that squad. We all know that. So for him to say that, and also when he first came to the club, he said, "Yeah, I want to build on the Europa League. I want to build on the success Ange had." So all of a sudden he's now going back and saying, "Oh yeah, but we did finish 17th." It's a bit snaky, I feel. And I don't think most Spurs fans won't buy that. There'll be a few. Well, yeah, we did finish 17th, but if you just say 17th without any context, I think it's a losing argument. Rain86 says, give him time. Too many people losing their heads. We can't keep changing managers. Most of the managers above us have been at their clubs for long periods, and look at them now. That's true. That is true. You know, well, not Slot, but Klopp was there for a while. Pep's been there for a while. Ted's been there for a while. Howe's got given time.
But also, what I want to say about like comparing it to Arteta and Klopp, like they both took time to get going, obviously at their football clubs. But I feel like Frank has got a much better starting block than what Arteta and Klopp had in terms of squad.
There's that, and as well, if you think about Klopp's early days at Liverpool, like the problem wasn't. The problem was that he was like, you could see what he was trying to do, but they didn't have the players for it. They weren't like, they were just missing certain things. Like they were putting loads of energy, and they would win games by big and then lose the next game because they were being shut out. But you could see what Klopp was trying to do. There was never games like we've seen like with Frank recently where you just don't get a shot on target. You could see what he was trying to do. Even with Arteta, you could see it. Especially with Pep. Pep, early days, I remember for City, I think he won the first 10 games and then it went a bit wrong, but you could see what he was trying to do. The thing is, no one can really see what Frank's vision is at the moment. I think that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Even Eddie Howe, I think he had a good start. I know he got given time, but I think he had a good start to Newcastle, if I remember. BS Arkley says, why is it too soon to sack him? When it is bad, Forest sacked Ange and they just beat Liverpool. Why should we dig ourselves into a deeper grave before we realise this isn't right for our club? And don't give me, well, Arteta started poorly. He never got pumped 4-1 by Spurs. Bite the bullet or do it in 2 years. Why?
I mean, if you want to use the Ange Nottingham Forest argument, Ange literally didn't win a game. Literally did not win one game.
He had 1 month and 5 games in the Premier League anyway.
Yeah. But we all knew, like, look, Ange, to be fair, it's pretty much, from what we've seen from Frank so far in terms of style of play, he looks like a very pragmatic and defensive manager. And we've gone from a very attacking manager to a very defensive manager, all from going from a very defensive manager to a very attacking manager. Ange, they went from a very defensive manager to a very attacking manager. Maybe these contrasting styles, you know, it just doesn't mix. You need to find some balance here.
Yeah, I think it is just too soon to sack him, just because you want to give him a fair chance. I'm not saying 2 years. 2 years would be way too long.
What is a fair chance?
I think January. 19 games. You can't say 19 games is nothing. If you're not showing anything after half a season, that's a fair crack at the whip, I would say.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
David MCG says, come on, Ben. Frank was a tactical genius and Ange was a trophy-winning buffoon. We're acting like a big club, remember?
Look, Ange leaves as a Tottenham legend. We thank him very much for the trophy, and we hold him in fond memories. But Frank, Frank was a tactical masterclass, tactical genius before he came to Spurs.
Yeah, no, everything seems to have changed all of a sudden. Did you ever call Ange a trophy-winning buffoon?
No.
Sure about it?
Yes.
Get the tapes. Release the tapes, someone. Steve Destiny 74 says, I will not be told that we would have been this bad had we stuck with Ange. He said he won't hear it.
You won't hear it. He might have lost more games, though.
He won't hear it. Might have won more games.
Might have won more. How many games have we won?
5?
5. What, 5 in 12?
Scored more goals, maybe. One thing's for sure, we would never have a game with 0.07 XG.
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So take of that what you will.
Yeah. It also, like, why is it always got to be like Ange against Frank? Like, it was getting toxic with Ange through the fans. Like, the fans had enough.
But it was all forgiven after Bilbao, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess it was, but I still think the majority.
See the loud cheer after season 3.
I know, and I was one of them cheering. But I feel like even with that trophy win, and even with, you know, all supposedly all forgiven after the Europa League win, I still think the majority of fans thought it was a good decision to part ways.
Look, they might have. I think if Ange would have let's say a day after the parade would have signed a new contract, let's say, I don't think there would have been a negative reaction to it, put it that way. But as the dust settled and there seemed to be an indecision from the board, it was perceived anyway. I think they had decided to sack him, hadn't they? But there seemed to be indecision. I think people like the emotion waved away, and then they started to be like, okay, maybe we should. I think it was probably like 50-50 at that point as the time went on. I was obviously definitely in the camp, just give him another year. I just think...
You weren't after the Chelsea game?
Huh? After the Chelsea game, I wasn't. After the Chelsea game, I wasn't when he cupped his ear to the fans. I wasn't happy with that. But look, we won the Europa League. He won me back a week after we beat Frankfurt. And I really believe that in the football that we know, we've seen that he can get out of his teams, that I think that football just needs investment, and I think it can work. In my opinion, we're never going to know. But I think there was reasons to hang on to it. Like the reason why was willing to give Ange time and grace because first of all, because of the problems he did have, and second of all, because I thought we could see what he was trying to do, what he was building, what the football he was trying to play, and that's the football we want to see at Tottenham. I understand there was flaws, but we saw with investment or with when the players were there on the pitch, when we had Van der Ven, Romero, and most of our suitable 11 that was good enough, wasn't teenagers and third and fourth and fifth choice centre backs and goalkeepers. We played quite well most of the time. That was the reality. Unfortunately, we very rarely saw them all together. That was the main problem. With investment, with a deeper squad, I think it could have worked. We then won the Europa League because I thought that's a good excuse.
I think playing well most of the time is a bit of a stretch.
When we had those players, we did.
I don't think so.
I mean, we did. The stats say so.
What stats?
How good our record was with those players.
What, our wins and our losses?
With those players.
Well, we just went through it. The first 10 games, first 12 games, we lost 5 games.
Throughout his tenure.
No, I don't think so, man.
I'm just saying the stats. We had a 1.9, I think, points per game ratio when we had Van der Ven and Romero. That's top 4 form.
So you're saying, like, if one defender gets injured, the whole thing collapses?
Defenders.
But you're saying both of them played?
When one of them was injured, we were like about 10th form.
Okay. And what are we now with them?
This season,
yeah.
Well, we're 9th. They played every game.
No, I'm saying what are they points per game? How many points per game are we on?
How many points per game are we on? So what are we, 18 points in 12 games?
Yeah.
Get the old calculator out. 1.5.
Yeah, so slightly better.
No, it's quite significantly better.
Yeah, it's better, but it's also like a small sample size, but it should be better, for sure. Should be better.
I think we were better under Ange when we had Romero and Van der Ven, and he's had them every game.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt about it right now. We have been better under Ange than we've been under Frank. No doubt about it. But just because if Frank is the wrong guy, it doesn't mean Ange was the right guy.
That's fair. That's also fair as well. I'm looking at how we're playing and the season. I'm just looking at how we're playing, what he's trying to implement, and I'm just looking at. I think I'd much rather have given season 3 a go than seeing what we're seeing. That's my opinion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that would necessarily be the right thing to do. I'm just saying it would have. That's more intriguing to me.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think if Ange was given season 3, he probably would have been sacked. Probably around the same time we're going to sack Frank.
Maybe. And then the last one is SR Shoot Your Face. Okay. Says Frank came in with all these fancy coaches, yet the players seem worse and worse the further we get from Ange's influence. I think many people got gaslit by Frank playing several formations, but not necessarily different tactics. Frank has not provided a single performance that inspired confidence in his style. We've been lucky with some results. We are supposed to be better defensively, yet we are comparable to Kinski, Gray and Davis from last year.
You know what? There is some validity to that, because you look at the Chelsea and the Arsenal game, 2 completely different formations and 2 of the exact same performances. With Arsenal probably being a bit worse, but two of the same level performances, I should say. Like, it's true, like, no matter what formation we play, it's the same stink fest. That's the problem.
Yeah, different formations, not necessarily different tactics, and that's the reality. And look, the thing is with Brentford, I know he did a great job, but it was always playing a pragmatic style, in my opinion. It was never front foot football. It was always play long balls, counter attacks, and look, he did get a lot of goals out of it, like, especially last season. But a lot of goals doesn't mean good attacking football; it just means a lot of goals.
Yeah. But it needs to be effective football. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's attacking football. It needs to be effective football. That's the main thing. Like the 6 months under Conte, you know, if I could give you those 6 months for a whole season, you would take it. It wasn't, you know, front-footed attacking football, but it was effective football and winning football.
That's fine. But if you're going to play that way, you need to get results.
100%. 100%. Of course. Of course you do. And if you play that way, and you get the results that we're getting, then it's nowhere near good enough, and it needs to be changed.
And that's the thing. I can handle a project if you're going to actually build towards a good, dominant, attacking brand of football. That's what project. I don't want a project that's leading to pragmatic football. Because if you're going to have a project which is going to have hard times at the beginning, right, then I'd rather give those hard times to a manager who's going to at least aspire to play dominant attacking football. I don't see the point in giving a project to giving hard times to a guy whose end goal is to play pragmatic football. That doesn't make sense to me.
But what if the end goal brings you productive football and winning football?
Why can't an attacking manager do that?
But we're here now.
No, I understand that. Well, there's no guarantee of that.
No, I'm not saying there's a guarantee, but if that is the end goal, and you can see the end goal, and that's what, you know, he's building towards, and that's what's going to happen, then you'd accept it.
No,
you wouldn't accept it.
I'll accept it if I know for sure, but I don't want to be watching pragmatic football that's losing in the hope that down the line, once we get it all right, there's going to be pragmatic football that's winning. I'd rather give the attacking manager the losses so that down the line that attacking manager will start to win games. That's what I would do. That makes more sense to me.
I mean, I don't really mind. Like, if the results are losing when we're attacking, like, he's still good. Like, we're still going to have the same question marks, and we're still going to complain and call for the manager's head.
Yes, but I'm more willing. If we're saying this is a project, we're saying this is like we're looking to start a project. I'd rather give that project to an attacking manager.
Obviously, it'll be easier on the eye, and but we'll still be unhappy at the beginning stages. So
obviously, no one's happy winning games. I'm just saying my opinion. What I'm willing to give time for. What I would be more patient with would be that if I can see an attacking brand of football being implemented.
Yeah, I get it, but like, if Frank is given the time to see through this and work through these hard times, and we end up to being a team that is pragmatic and a counter-attacking team, but we end up being a consistent team that get results, like, I don't think anyone's going to mind. Like, I think too much focus maybe is on the style of play.
No, I don't think so. This is in our DNA. This is Tottenham Hotspur. So I think that there's going to be a lot of fans who feel that way. That's how they want their team to play. Obviously, if we're winning games, I'm saying if you're trying to sell a project to the fans, it's a lot easier to stomach a project where the goal is to be a team that aspires to the DNA of the club. It's not. It's the fan base are always going to have less patience for a project where the end goal isn't a team that you can be proud of and that aspires to be Tadarius to do. That's the reality, I think. So when you have moments like this...
But I think, like, teams' DNA, like, yeah, we can talk about the push and run in the 60s and whatever. Like, look at Arsenal, for example. Their DNA back in the day was 1-0 to the Arsenal defensive football. Then Arsene Wenger came in and he changed it all. So the DNA and changes to whatever the club is successful doing. So now they're playing more, you know, pragmatic football to what they're playing under Arsene Wenger, and they were finding quite success with it in this early stage of the season. So if we play...
Did you say how they played against us on Sunday was pragmatic?
No, but for the most part, you could say, like, they've been relying on set pieces a lot, and they've been fairly...
Because they've been so dominant, that's why.
What do you mean?
That's why they've been relying, because everyone is playing low block against them.
And they can't break them down.
Right, but that's not because they're pragmatic. That's because everyone else is pragmatic.
So they're not playing exactly free-flowing football, though, have they been?
That's because everyone's trying to stop them playing it.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
saw
what
how
happens when you're an
saw
attacking
they
team and
did,
you're a
yeah,
good
they did
team,
on
doesn't
Sunday.
it? Yeah, on Sunday we let them play, didn't we? But what I'm saying is, if the DNA of the club doesn't matter if you're playing winning football, like when we had Conte, it didn't matter because like how happy were we when we were watching Conte week in week out when we were smashing teams and playing really well, like
Yes.
playing three at the back
Nope.
and
But there was no project with Conte.
no.
It just
Why
hit
does
the
that
ground.
make a difference?
Why does that make a difference?
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here being sold like, okay, this is the manager we're going to trust for the long term. We just need to give him time, right? But why should we sit here and give a manager time when all he's trying to do is play a counter-attacking, sit-back kind of, not aspiring to be a team that kind of dominates the ball and looks to attack teams regularly? Why should we give that method of time when an attacking manager can get that time and maybe down the line? There's no reason why an attacking manager can't work at this club, right? There's no
Yeah.
reason why we can't have a manager that plays attacking football. That's what the fans ultimately want primarily. So if we're going to give a manager a tough period and allow him to be losing games, why not give that to an attacking manager? Why give that to a pragmatic one? Doesn't make sense.
Look, I think I get what you're saying. Look, for me personally, like, obviously I want to see attacking football. Like that's what gets you off your seat. That's what's most exciting. That's what you want to watch week in, week out. But all that matters is if you can get through this bad period and you see winning, consistent football, that is all that matters at the end of the day. So, is what it is. All right. Well, that's the comments, people. Keep putting your comments in and we'll keep reacting to them. So thank you very much for joining us today. Was there a couple of super chats just before we finish off?
Yes, I think they were from...
Hate Me Frisbee says, Sunday pissed me off so much it was pathetic. And Real Nate with the super chat says, I have a feeling that with the new ownership that Frank is a stopgap for Poch. Move Kudus to the left, Javi at cam and Porro right wing, and Poch could do well.
Why is everyone obsessed with Porro right wing? It's never going to work.
You might get more crosses in than Brennan.
Yeah, that's true.
But
He's like the Wolverine meme where he's holding a picture. Bring me back, Ange.
I would not be surprised if we do end up sacking Frank this season, have an interim, and then get Poch back in the summer. I would not be surprised if that's like the direction of travel at all.
We'll definitely get the fans on side very quickly. I
Yeah.
think getting our manager who's got unfinished business back at the club.
Yeah, what did Enoch do? What was their first point of call? Bring Hoddle back to the club as manager.
Well, they tried. They've also tried before to bring Poch back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was under Levy and Carl.
Brian's one thing he always said about Pochettino coming back is, I don't want Poch back unless Daniel Levy's not at the club anymore.
Well, maybe he'll get his wish. Maybe he'll get his wish.
Yeah, I've always wanted Poch back. To be honest, I kind of like now is probably the point where it's like kind of I least want it because of the jobs he's done at clubs. But
We've never truly got over Poch.
But I would take him back. I really would take him back. He's a man that truly loves his football club. Truly loves his football club. So I definitely would take him back, to be honest. If I offered you Poch right now,
Yeah, I'm taking it.
you're taking it.
We can't have a shot on target. I'm taking it. Giving me Pochettino.
But you wouldn't take Brendan.
No.
He'll
I'd-
get a shot
I'd-
on target.
But I'd rather see what Frank can do than Brendan. But I know what Poch can do. Not that bothered about Brendan.
Poch always, but I mean, bringing in Poch halfway through a season could be disaster. He needs a pre-season Poch.
Ideally, yes. But I'm willing to roll the dice.
So who else? Who would you bring? Who else is there? Like, I don't know, man. Let's just stick with Frank for now and see where we go.
Marco Rose, Eric Ten Hag.
Ten Hag. Would you take Ten Hag now?
Nah. I wouldn't take Hag.
Would you take
Terzic.
Ivan Juric?
Bruno Lange, Sam Allardyce. How far are we from Allardyce territory?
Very far. Extremely far. We need to be bottom of the league for Sam Allardyce.
Laurent Blanc.
Isn't he another defensive manager?
I can't remember how he played. He used to be PSG manager, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, you have got Stelios and Super Sai on the watch along tomorrow. And while me and Sim are out in Paris, let's hope we can come back with 3 points. Not holding my breath, but you never know, people. You never know.
A funny feeling.
Might have that funny feeling come tomorrow morning, but right now,
you, and that feeling will come straight back.
it's so funny. It's amazing what a couple beers can do about all these funny feelings.
Maybe you're confused what the feeling is.
All right, people. We'll see you all later, man. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.